The family of 23-year-old Nosicelo Mtebeni is expected to meet the Fort Hare University leadership. Her gruesome murder has rocked the city of East London. Mtebeni's dismembered body was found in the suitcase in the suburb of Kwikni. Some body parts were discovered in bags outside the home of the man believed to have been her boyfriend. Her head and hands were discovered inside the man's room. eNCA's Ayesha Ismail has more. Ayesha, do you have any more details regarding the suspect for one, as well as, of course, Nosicelo's murder and discovery?
Well, what we do know is that the suspect is due to make an appearance in an East London Magistrates Court on Monday morning. But what's happening here at the moment, we're outside the University of Fort Hare, the East London campus, where a meeting is due to take place with the university authorities, the South African Police Services, as well as family members and some friends. But I'm now joined by the Premier of the Eastern Cape, who's come to join this meeting taking place here at the university. So thank you so much for joining us. This really is a tragic event.
Thank you very much, Ayesha. Greetings to you and greetings to your viewers as well. Indeed, we are here in this very sad week, a week that it will take time for us to forget about it because of this incident. It's a very horrific incident that is supposed not to happen, especially now that we have our country being liberated. So these are some of the incidences that really are every day becoming a wake-up call on how we should be upping our game in fighting the gender-based violence and femicide. It's a very sad day, and we'd want to take the opportunity to convey our heartfelt, deepest condolences to the family of Nosicelo, as well as the family of another child whom we have been reported that also fell from one of the buildings. Whatever that has happened, that's what we know. So, I mean, death of students is very unfortunate to the country because these are young people that we are looking up to in building our country. So they are also traumatizing those who are left behind. You can imagine the other girl child having seen what has been happening, and with all these things circulating in social media. It is bad. It's bad what we are doing to women as men. I think it's high time that we all join this call and really lead as men in this fight against gender-based violence and femicide, because it is perpetrated by men.
You're absolutely correct, Premier, because, you know, often people talk about gender-based violence, but it's actually violence against women perpetrated against or perpetrated by men.
Yeah, correctly so. But all the incidences that we've actually seen, terrible as they are, be it people killing old people, it's men, especially young men, who are really involved in these kind of incidences. You can't have a boyfriend that can tend to be an animal. It's only an animal. It's actually cannibalism, what we've seen. If you can have someone doing what we've seen, it is actually, I can't even describe it. It's a very sad day, very sad moment. You can't even understand, fathom, how that person has arrived at that. When you decide to do that to a human being, I mean, even killing a human being should be something else. When you decide now to slice a human being, you are beyond really the levels of being corrigible. So it's a very, very terrible experience. We are really condemning this. We wish that we as human beings, we are learning out of this and we begin to realize what kind of a society we are living in. We've got to work very hard to really instill and inculcate this culture that it's supposed to be characterizing our society, especially in a democratic dispensation. So government has done everything in power, but government is not going to be in our households. Every family must take responsibility about children, what kind of children we are bringing up for the future of the country. So we have a huge responsibility as parents on parenting and looking after our kids, and how do we develop them to be better human beings. I think the challenge of a boy child who probably will be growing up with all these funny things that we're seeing, watching all what they are watching, turning up into these things. Surely the issue of drug abuse, you can't roll it out into this. So it's someone who's actually taken something. You can't do this thing like this being a normal human being. I don't think God has created a man of this nature. So you're talking about something that really is painful. You can imagine that parent, that mother who has actually looked after this child 9 months inside her, bringing this child. When a child is almost concluding, a 4-year LLB child, you get a child being exposed to this thing, and simply because there was a man close to her who claimed to be loving her. So clearly there's something completely wrong that is going through, and definitely we need all of us working together, working with government, civil society, traditional leaders, wherever we are. It takes a community to mold a child. So we've got to look after children that we are bringing up. It needs all of us. It needs a collective effort. When you bring kids here in this setup, you are looking for a bright future. No parent would actually ever envisage a situation where you bring your child to the university only to come and fetch that child being a dead body. So it's a very unfortunate situation. We are with this family during this difficult time, and we can only wish them to really accept what they cannot change because it has happened, and possible with God's grace, they should be able to actually prevail on this. But all what has happened, it definitely will not going to bring back this child, and we've got to stop it. We've got to stand up now to stop it, because if we don't, we've seen these things happening before. A number of other young kids, even here in East London, have been slain, have been killed, brutally murdered. It continues unabating. So it's high time now that we don't finger point. We all stand up where you are, in the corner where you are, and say, we are stopping this, it must stop now.
Thank you so much for those wise words, Premier. That was the Premier of the Eastern Cape. And of course, it's the month of August. It's Women's Month. It's a month where women are supposed to be celebrated. Yet statistics reveal that every 3 hours, a woman is killed in South Africa.